Om Shanti. Good morning. Today we will listen to Baba's valuable versions of date 2nd October 2020. Today Baba is emphasizing on the relevance of effort. So, although Baba says that it is fixed in the drama that we will reach our destiny and that the golden age will come, but then that drama, that recording in the drama requires us to make effort too. So that it is the call of time that we make effort. So there is a significance of drama in the sense that without the right time, even the best of efforts can't bear fruit. But when the right time comes, in order to get the fruit, one has to sow the seed of effort. If one doesn't sow the seed, how do you get the fruit? So, just like when a farmer uh, plants seeds, sows seeds, then he has to take care of the right season. But if there is the right season and he doesn't sow seeds, does he get fruit? He doesn't get it. So the time has to be right and effort has to be made in the right time to get the fruit. So Baba says, this time in the drama is the time of the auspicious confluence age. This time has the power or the quality that if we make the effort at this time to become deities from humans, we will be able to do that, because right now we have access to God's knowledge and powers and virtues, and this is the time of transformation. Only after the end of Kali Yuga can Satyug come. So the time is right. We have all the things available to us which can help us transform ourselves. But the important thing is we have to make effort. Without effort, this transformation can't take place. So the essence today is, sweet children, this most elevated confluence age is the age of benevolence. Only in this age does transformation take place. This is the age when you change from the most degraded to the most elevated human beings. Question is, by thinking or speaking of which particular things can you never make any progress on this path of knowledge? So Baba says, if it's in the drama, I'll make effort. I'll do it if the drama inspires me. Those who think or speak in this way can never make progress. It is wrong to say this. You know that it's also fixed in the drama for you to make effort now. You do have to make effort, right? So it is fixed in the drama that we will get our reign, or we will be the rulers of the new world. But it is also fixed in the drama that we will make effort. So we have to pay attention to the call of time and make the effort. Song is, this is the story of the flame and the storm. Om Shanti. How human beings of the Iron Age have composed this song, that this is the story of the flame and the storm. But they have no idea what the flame is or what the storm is. So the flame is that of the soul, or the flame of soul consciousness, and the storm is the storm of Maya. So Maya always tries to extinguish the flame, which is Maya tries to derail us from soul consciousness, but we have to keep up the flame by keeping up the practice of remembrance. So Baba says human beings of the Iron Age have composed this song, but they don't understand the meaning of it. You know it. You are now the most elevated confluence aged beings. Together with confluence age, you also have to write the most elevated, because this is not just any normal, simple, ordinary confluence. This is the confluence in which we can change from human to divine, because we have everything available with us which can help us change from human to divine. So Baba says, because of not remembering points of knowledge, you children forget to write such words. This is the main thing, and only you understand the meaning of it. There is the most elevated month of charity. So in Hinduism, there is the Purushottam Mass, or the month where people perform actions of charity. So Baba says this is the most elevated confluence age. So they celebrate a month of charity, but this is a whole age when we have to perform charitable actions or punya karam. So Baba says this confluence age is also a festival, and this festival is different from the festivals we celebrate ordinarily, because those festivals are just celebrated. So we celebrate divinity, we celebrate purity, but here we become what we celebrate. So this is the biggest festival. So Baba says this is the most elevated festival. You know that you are now becoming the most elevated. Earlier you used to celebrate the elevated. Now you are becoming the most elevated. The highest of all beings. So Baba says Lakshmi and Narayan are called the highest of all, the wealthiest of all, number one. So we are now becoming that. So this is the biggest festival. In the scriptures, it says that there was a great annihilation, and that the number one, Sri Krishna, then came floating on a people leaf in the ocean. What would you say now? So how would you interpret this whole thing, this symbolic image that is given about the birth of Sri Krishna in Bhakti? So that image is that after the great destruction, Sri Krishna came floating on a people leaf on the ocean. So Baba says the ocean is the ocean of knowledge, and from the ocean of knowledge emerges the pure land, Bharat, which would be in the shape of a peepal tree in the golden age. And on that, the first elevated being who would come to earth would be Sri Krishna. So this symbolism is shown in the scriptures in this way. So Baba says that, what would you say now? This Sri Krishna, whom you call Shyam Sundar, so the one who changes from Shyam to Sundar. So this is the age of change, and then once he becomes Sundar, he comes in that form. So this Krishna, whom you call Shyam Sundar, is number one. It is shown that he came sucking his thumb. A baby remains in a womb. So Sri Krishna, the highest of all beings, is the first one to emerge from the ocean of knowledge. Heaven is established by the ocean of knowledge. The number one most elevated being is Sri Krishna, and that one is the ocean of knowledge. Who? Shiv Baba. So Sri Krishna is the mouth born of Shiv Baba. So Shiv Baba gives birth to Sri Krishna by creating the destiny of Sri Krishna in this confluence age. So Baba says, so this one is the ocean of knowledge, not an ocean of water. Annihilation never takes place. When new children come, the father has to repeat the old points. So, who are the new children sitting today? So, do you feel fortunate that Baba is referring to you? So, Baba is aware that you are the new children and you are sitting for the Murli. So, Baba is repeating the points and explaining everything from the scratch to you. The Golden Age, the Silver Age, the Copper Age, and the Iron Age, these four ages are known anyway. The fifth age is this most elevated confluence age. Human beings change in this age. So, degradation takes place from the golden through to the Iron Age. So, that happens naturally. But there needs to be conscious change for one to change from the Iron Age to the Golden Age, and that change is brought about in the Confluence Age. So Baba says they change from the most degraded to the most elevated. Shiv Baba is called the most elevated or highest one of all. He is the supreme soul, God. Then the highest human beings are Lakshmi and Narayan. Who made them that? Only you children know this. So the most elevated creates creates human beings that are the most elevated from their version of being the most degraded in this Iron Age. So those who were the most elevated, Sri Lakshmi and Narayan, became degraded and came to their ordinary form, and now the most elevated Shiv Baba comes to recreate them into their original form. So Baba says, Shiv Baba is called the most elevated of or highest one of all. Only you children know this. You children understand that it is at this time that we make effort to become like them. There is nothing difficult in this effort. It is most simple. What is the effort? It is very simple. You have to just consider yourself to be a soul and do not remember this old world, but remember Baba. That is the effort. Those who study are innocent, weak mothers and hunchbacks with no education. So, anybody, it doesn't matter whether you went to school or not, you are equally eligible to be a student in this school, which changes you from a human to a deity. So, Baba says it is explained so simply for them. Look, there used to be a sage in Ahmedabad who would say that he didn't eat or drink anything. So, what did he attain by that? Did he just save the grocery of the world? So, Baba says, so he had this accomplishment that he didn't eat or drink anything. So, Baba says, okay, so what if someone doesn't eat or drink for his whole life? He still doesn't attain anything by doing that. Even a tree receives nourishment. So, anybody who is on this field of action deserves nourishment. So, Baba says, why are you not giving yourself the nourishment that you deserve? It receives fertilizer and water which make it grow in a natural way. The sage must have received some occult power. There are many who walk on water and fire. What benefit is there in doing that? So Baba says if you walk on fire, you actually create extra expense of lighting up the fire and then you show your power by walking on it. Or if you walk on water, you could actually make that travel very fast on a boat by paying some shells to the boatmen. So Baba says, what do you gain anyway by getting that accomplishment? And you see, in order to get any power, there is a lot of effort, time, energy, thought that gets invested in it. So Baba says, why don't you invest your time, thought, energy, money, and everything in becoming a deity from a human rather than wasting it on such trivial pursuits? So Baba says, so there are many who walk on water or fire. What benefit is there in doing that? By studying this easy Raj Yoga, you experience benefit for birth after birth. From being unhappy, you are made happy for birth after birth. The father says, children, according to the drama, I am telling you deep things. So Baba says, I am also acting, I am also doing the work according to drama. And my work, my job, my role is to tell you the deep secrets of the universe, and I'm doing that. But I am also doing it according to drama, so you also have to make effort according to drama. So Baba says that, for instance, Baba has explained to you how they have confused Shiva with Shankar. Shankar doesn't even have a part to play in this world. Now they say that Shankar is responsible for destruction. But actually, nobody brings about destruction. Destruction is a byproduct of creation. So when we souls meditate and create punya karam, and then we create a collective consciousness of positivity, and then the whole world is on its own creating a collective consciousness of negativity, then both these consciousness reach their tipping point, and then because of this collective consciousness, destruction takes place. So Baba says, actually destruction is not brought about consciously by anybody. So Baba says that Shankar doesn't even have a part to play in this world. Shiva, Brahma and Vishnu have parts to play. Brahma and Vishnu have an all-round part because they are the same soul and they remain here for the whole cycle. Shiv Baba only has a part at this time, and this is why he comes now and gives knowledge. He then goes back to the land of Nirvana. He gives the children all his property, and he then goes into the stage of retirement. To be in the stage of retirement means to make effort to go beyond sound through a guru. So there are people who who find solace in a physical guru, and they say we are vanprasthi, that is, we are in the stage of retirement. But Baba says what is meant by true vanprasth is that you go beyond sound, that is, you go beyond the pulse of the senses. But Baba says nobody here does that practice. They only go to the Guru and they say we are Vanprasthis. But actually, the true meaning of Vanprasth is going beyond sound or going beyond the pull of senses. And nobody but the Supreme Guru, Shiv Baba, can teach you how to do that. No human Guru can actually teach you that. So Baba says that to be in the stage of retirement means to make effort to go beyond sound through a guru. However, no one can return home yet because everyone is vicious and corrupt. Everyone takes birth through vice. Lakshmi and Narayan are viceless. So now Baba teaches us the art how to become viceless, because Baba has told us 3 steps: incorporeal, viceless, and egoless. So Nirakari, Nirvikari, and Nirankari, these were the last words that Baba spoke. So only when you practice being incorporeal can you become viceless, and only then can you become egoless, and you can move to the other dimension. So Baba says only Lakshmi and Narayan are viceless, because now Baba teaches us how to practice being incorporeal so that you can become viceless. They don't take birth through sin. This is why they are called elevated. Lakshmi and Baba says Kumaris too are viceless. Okay. This is why everyone bows to them. So during Navratras, everybody bows down to Kumaris because they are viceless. So vicelessness is a virtue that makes one worship worthy. So Baba says because Lakshmi and Narayan are worshipped, they are viceless. So it is the vicelessness that is celebrated. So Baba also teaches us how to become viceless now by practicing being bodiless. So Baba says, this is why everyone bows to them. So Baba has explained that Shankar doesn't have a part to play here. However, Prajapita Brahma is definitely the father of people, is it not? So Prajapita means the father of people. So he has to act with people, which he is doing right now. Shiv Baba is called the father of souls. He is the eternal father. You have to imbibe these deep aspects very well. So Shiv Baba is the father of all souls. Prajapita Brahma is the father of those souls who recognize Shiv Baba in their body in the last confluence age. So Baba says great philosophers receive great titles. Scholars receive the title of Shri Shri 108. They pass in the College of Banaras and receive those titles. Baba sent Gupta ji to Banaras to explain to them that they had taken the father's titles for themselves. So Shri Shri 108 is the title of the father who creates those 108 souls who are celebrated through history. So Baba says the father is called Shri Shri 108 Jagat Guru. There is a rosary of 108. 8 jewels have been remembered. They passed with honors. That is why their rosary has turned. So Baba says they turn the rosary, they celebrate those souls which learned from Shiv Baba and became perfect so that they could pass with honors in this time. And then from the Copper Age onwards, we turn the beads in of the rosary in remembrance of those souls who actually became perfect so that we receive some inspiration or blessings from them. So Baba says that then the 108 who are less elevated than them are worshipped. When people hold a sacrificial fire, they make 1000 saligrams. So, whenever there is a Rudra Yagya where the Shivling is established, along with the Shivling, there are saligrams. So, Baba says those saligrams are a symbol of those souls who became Baba's helpers in this task of world transformation at this time. So Baba is telling you how the worshipping from the Copper Age takes place and how those who become Baba's helpers at this time are celebrated and worshipped in the Copper Age and down to the Iron Age. So Baba says when people hold a sacrificial fire, they make 1000 saligrams, some make 10,000, some 50,000 and some even 1 lakh. They make them of clay and then hold a sacrificial fire. If a businessman is very prosperous, he would have 1 lakh saligrams made. The father has explained that the rosary is very long. There is even a rosary of 16,108. So there is a temple in India where they make a rosary of 16,108 and then many people sit in all corners and then they just turn that rosary by shifting one bead from one person to the other. So Baba says the father sits here and explains these things to you children. All of you are serving Bharat with the father. Since the father is worshipped, even the children should be worshipped because the father is worshipped because he makes the old world into a new world or hell into heaven. So those children who help the father are also worshipped. So the saligrams are symbolize those souls who helped the father at this time. So Baba says people don't know why Rudra is worshipped. All are the children of Shiv Baba. At this time, the world population is so large. All souls are Shiv Baba's children. but not all are his helpers. So only those people, every soul is a child of Baba, but worship worthy are those souls which become Baba's helpers. Not everybody becomes Baba's helpers, although everybody is Baba's child. So Baba says the more you remember him at this time, the more elevated you become. You become worthy of worship. No one else has the power to explain these things. This is why they say that no one knows the depths of God. So, God contains all the secrets of the world cycle and everything. God has an explanation for everything that happens through time. So, the depth of God is not accessible until God Himself comes and spills the treasures that He holds inside. So, Baba says the Father Himself comes and explains that He is the ocean of knowledge. Therefore, he definitely does give knowledge. There is no question of inspiration. This is very practical education. It is not by inspiration that you come to know so many secrets. Does God explain through inspiration? You know that He has the knowledge of the beginning, the middle, and the end of the world. He tells this to you, children. Yes, very practically. Through Brahma's mouth, He speaks. You do have faith in this, but in spite of having faith, you forget the Father. Remembrance of the Father is the essence of this study. So, what is the essence of this study? Remember the Father. Because when you remember the Father, you remember who He is, what His qualities are, you remember what He says, and then whatever you remember, you start becoming like that. So you become an embodiment of His teachings, His qualities, His powers, everything by remembering Baba. So Baba says that it does take effort to attain the Karmatit stage by having remembrance of the Father. It is in this remembrance that Maya causes obstacles. There are not that many obstacles in studying, right? Because studying is done through the senses. So the senses get engaged while we are studying. But remembrance is done through the mind and intellect, and then the senses disturb the mind and intellect when we sit in remembrance. So Baba says they say of Shankar that when he opened his eye, destruction took place. Baba says it isn't right to say this. The Father says, neither do I inspire destruction, nor does Shankar carry out destruction. This is wrong. Deities would not commit sin. Shiv Baba now sits here and explains these things. This body is the chariot of the soul. Each soul is riding in his own chariot. The Father says, I take this one's chariot on loan, because Baba doesn't have a chariot of his own. This is why my birth is said to be divine and unique. The cycle of 84 births is now in your intellects. You know that you will go home and then go to heaven. Baba explains everything very easily. You mustn't have heart failure. So, what is heart failure? Becoming disheartened is heart failure. So, Baba says, I am explaining you everything. Don't become disheartened. This is your 84th birth, and you have a daunting task of changing yourself from human to angel to deity, and changing the world from devilish to divine. So you have to have a lot of courage in doing this task. So Baba says, don't have heart failure. Some say, Baba, I am not educated, nothing comes out of my mouth. However, it isn't like that. The mouth definitely works. It only works for the wrong things, right? Even when you eat, your mouth works, does it not? It is impossible for no sound to emerge. Baba has explained everything very simply. Even when someone is observing silence, he can still signal upwards to remember that one. So Baba says doing seva is very easy. Even if you don't have to speak, you can signal and tell anyone to remember Baba. So Baba says if there is an intention and if there is love for Baba, then you can speak and do Baba's service. Even when Baba says only the one bestower is the remover of sorrow and the bestower of happiness, as well as now he is also the bestower on the path of devotion. So, even on the path of devotion, Baba fulfills the desires of devotees. So Baba says he gives you the inheritance of knowledge at this time, and he also fulfills your desires in devotion. So Baba says then in the stage of retirement there is just peace. You children also reside in the land of peace. Your parts that are recorded in you continue to be played out. Our parts now are to make the world new. His name is very good, Heavenly God, the Father. The Father is the creator of heaven. He does not create hell. Yes, so Baba is called the Heavenly Godfather. He does not create hell. Would anyone create an old world? A building is always built new. Shiv Baba creates the new world through Brahma. He has received that part. In the old world, all human beings continue to cause sorrow for one another. You know that you are the children of Shiv Baba. Then, as bodily beings, you are the adopted children of Prajapita Brahma. So now we have two fathers. So, one who is the eternal father and one who is the instrument father at this time. It is Shiv Baba, the creator, the middle, and the end of his creation. Your aim and objective is to become this. This means what? Lakshmi Narayan. So Baba always had a picture of Sri Lakshmi Narayan beside him when he was speaking the Murli. So he says this. So your aim objective is to become this. People incur so much expenditure creating marble idols. This is the godly world university. The whole universe is being changed. The character of everyone is devilish. They continue to cause sorrow from the beginning through the middle to the end. This is God's university. There is only the one world university of God. So nowhere else does God teach you how to be God-like. Right? So everyone teaches human values. Nobody teaches you divine values because people think to err is human and to forgive divine. So nobody teaches you how to forgive. People teach you how to err. So Baba teaches you divine values. Baba doesn't teach us human values. And this is the only spiritual university where godly knowledge, the knowledge of how to become divine, is given. So Baba says it is God who opens it through which the whole world benefits. You children now understand the difference between right and wrong. And what is the difference between right and wrong? Whatever is in keeping with the original qualities of the soul is right, and whatever is not in keeping with the original qualities of the soul is wrong. For example, the original quality of the soul is purity. Then any thought, word, or action which arises out of impurity is a wrong action. So Baba says, people use these terms righteous anger. So how can anger be right when the religion of the soul is peace? So anger is not in keeping with the original religion of the soul, so how can that be right? So now Baba teaches us that right and wrong has to be spiritual, and Baba teaches us how to distinguish between right and wrong in a spiritual way. So Baba says, you children now understand the difference between right and wrong. No other human beings understand this. There is only the one righteous one. He is the one who is called the truth, who explains to you about right and wrong. Only the Father comes and makes everyone righteous. When you have become righteous, then you will go into liberation and then into liberation in life. What is liberation in life? Liberation in life is coming into the golden age, and liberation is going to the soul world. So first we will go to the soul world, and then we'll come back to the golden age. You children also know the drama. This play, Baba says, you come down number wise to play your parts from the beginning through the middle to the end. This play continues all the time, and the drama continues to be short. This is ever new. So because you forget what you did last time, so every time you shoot it, it appears to be new. That is why Baba says, think about what makes sense to you and make effort to do the right thing now, because the drama is repeating but also ever new, because you forget what you did last time. This drama never becomes old. All other plays, etc., perish. This drama is unlimited and imperishable. Everyone in this is an imperishable actor. Look how big the eternal play and stage are. Just look at the stage, it is a massive stage. So all other dramas are performed on small stages, and this is a massive drama, unlimited drama playing out on the unlimited stage. The Father comes and makes the old world new. You will have visions of all of this. The closer you come, the happier you will feel, and you will have visions. Yes, so first get close to Baba. Then we will get close, we will bring time closer, and then we will see what lies ahead. You will see that you will say that your parts have come to an end. The drama then has to repeat. You will then play your parts anew, the parts that you played in the previous cycle. There cannot be the slightest change in this. Therefore, you children have to claim as high a status as possible. Make effort and don't become confused. It is wrong to say that the drama will inspire you to do whatever you have to do. We have to make effort, right? Acha. So today there are invaluable elevated versions of Mateshwari Ji also, and it is on a topic which most of us want to know, have some clarity about, and that is liberation and moksha. So Mama says, nowadays people call liberation is moksha. They believe that those who attain liberation, means those who go home, become free from the cycle of birth and death. So the sannyasis have told us that once you go home, you will not come back again. They believe that not coming into the cycle of birth and death is an elevated status. They believe that to be the reward. Okay, so is that a reward? What if an actor is stopped from acting? He is never sent on to the stage. Is that a reward or a punishment? That is a punishment. So similarly, if we actors do not play our parts, it's not a reward, it's a punishment. So we go home, yes, because that is our home and every actor must visit home. But then we are actors anyway, so we have to come and play our parts. So there is nothing like eternal liberation or moksha. There is liberation, but then we have to come back and play our parts. So Baba says they believe liberation in life to be living a life in which you perform good acts. But liberation in life means being in a stage spiritually where you are beyond the influence of pain and pleasure, attainment and non attainment, praise and defamation, when nothing attracts you or repulses you. So that is liberation in life. And ordinary people, they say that liberation in life means you just perform good acts, but you don't experience the liberation or the freedom spiritually which you should feel within, because the pulse of these praise and defamation, sorrow and happiness, these keep pulling you. You're sometimes attracted, sometimes repulsed, so you don't feel liberated inside. So just doing good actions can't be called liberation in life. So Baba says, for instance, they believe that righteous souls are liberated in life. Those who perform good actions are liberated. It is only a handful who understand about becoming liberated from karmic bondages. So, when there are no bondages on the soul, nothing pulls or repulses the soul, that is a stage of liberation in life. This is their own opinion. However, we have understood from God that until a human being has been liberated from his karmic bondages based on vices, he will not be able to become free from the sorrow of the beginning through the middle to the end. To become free from this is also a stage. So, only when you first imbibe godly knowledge can you reach that stage, and it is God Himself who enables us to reach that stage, because He is the one who grants liberation and liberation in life. He comes at this one time to grant everyone liberation and liberation in life. He tells us how to practice being bodiless so that we can become viceless, and then we can be free from karmic bondages, because karmic bondages manifest themselves when we have vices within us. God doesn't come many times, and you must not think that God comes as an incarnation. So it's not like God came as Jesus and Buddha and then He came as in the body of Brahma. No, God only comes at the end of Kali Yuga and the beginning of Satyug, at this auspicious confluence age. He only gives this knowledge at this one time. Acha. To the sweetest, beloved, long lost, and now found children, love, remembrance, and good morning from the mother, the father, Bap Dada. The spiritual father says Namaste to the spiritual children. The spiritual children say Namaste to the spiritual father. Today's essence for dharana is: keep the essence of the study in your intellect and attain your karmatit stage by staying on the pilgrimage of remembrance. In order to become elevated and worthy of worship, become a complete helper of the Father. You have received the understanding from the true Father of what is right and what is wrong. Therefore, become righteous through that. Become liberated from a life of bondage and claim your inheritance of liberation and liberation in life. Blessing. May you have an elevated reward and experience the ascending stage by remaining aware of the elevated attainments of the confluence age. So Baba says some people think that golden age is the age of attainments and confluence age is only the age of efforts. But Baba says no, you have a lot of treasures attained in this confluence age: the treasure of knowledge, the treasure of virtues, the treasure of powers, the treasure of experiences, the treasure of Baba's company, and you must relish these treasures also. Never feel you are only making effort in this age Also relish the treasures that come with this effort, so that this journey looks very priceless to you. So Baba says the speciality of meeting God and of receiving God's knowledge is to have imperishable attainments. It isn't that the confluence age is just an effort making life and that the golden age is a life of the reward of that. The speciality of the confluence age is that you take one step and receive 1,000 steps as the reward. So it isn't just effort, but it is also an elevated reward. Always keep this form in front of you. So always remember, this is an age of rewards and attainments. By seeing the reward, you will easily experience the ascending stage. You will feel you're flying, not being drained by effort. Sing the song, I have attained what I wanted to attain. You were looking for knowledge, purity, and peace and happiness, and you attained that. So, what are you again complaining about? So, Baba says, keep singing the song, I attained what I wanted to attain, and you will be saved from choking off or nodding off. Slogan: the breath of Brahmins is courage, with which even the most difficult task becomes easy. So, when you have courage, you can move the mountains. So, the most difficult task becomes easy when you have courage. Om Shanti.